All right, let's bring on Daryl Ruiter. He's brought to you by Shab & Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. Hello.
Good morning, boys.
What'd you think?
Not great.
All right, thank you very much for the time. Does Bubba Ventrone, that's a weird way to ask it, is he in trouble today?
He should be, but he's probably not because, this regime prides themselves on their consistency even when the consistency is bad. And so I don't think he's in trouble. I mean, if they're not going to change out the quarterback, why would they change out the special teams coordinator?
Well, it's so weird, Daryl, where, in the last decade, you went from a team that it seemed they made too many quick decisions, too many knee-jerk reactions to admit nobody is accountable for anything.
Yeah.
Nobody's held accountable for anything. Your special teams becomes, this is why you're so mad. It's like, well, guys, you can yell about special teams. No, when your quarterback play is devoid of anything, when we're actually surprised they complete a touchdown pass, which we were. I was anyway. Yep. Lima was. I'm not sure how you came out on it, Daryl. I'll ask you here in a second. It makes special teams that much more important because when you're down 14-7, you really don't have a lot of faith that you're going to be able to come back and tie that thing up right then and there. And they were able to get it to 17-17, but even that seemed like that was almost an impossibility.
Yeah, and even at the end of the game, with the offsides boneheaded penalty on 4th and 4 that ended the game officially, even if they, got the ball back with 45 seconds left, zero thought in my mind that Dillon Gabriel was going to do anything with that particular possession to allow them to get down the field and tie that game, force overtime. I had zero confidence, so it kind of really didn't even matter. It was a boneheaded mistake, but it didn't even matter because Dillon Gabriel wasn't going to do anything with it anyway. So you pretty much know your fate going in every week as long as Dillon Gabriel is your quarterback. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know that it gets better with Shedeur Sanders out there because, as I said going into the week, I think you guys asked me on Friday, look, unless you, with Tommy Reese taking over play calling. And yeah, there were, you saw a little bit of difference with Tommy calling the plays yesterday, but unless you were swapping out the quarterback and the receiving corps, it didn't matter. No matter who's calling plays. All you're doing is dangling a shiny object to make it look like you're doing something. But that's it. Like, there's no quarterback that's going to walk through that door and save you. There's no receiving corps that's walking through that door that's going to save you. There's no offensive tackles walking through that door that's going to save you. So they're going to stick with Dillon. They're probably going to stick with Bubba. Like, this is what they do. They hit the iceberg, and they're all going to go down with the ship. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, Daryl, it's just hard for a locker room, I imagine, to continue to go out there and play when they see that this quarterback is that limited, and now it doesn't really matter who's calling the plays. It just seems to be the situation. So do you see that there's no chance of any kind of accountability, whether it's Bubba, certainly not going to fire the coach yet, but they did just lose to the Jets in humiliating fashion. They're not benching Gabriel, so how do you expect this team to go out and play hard the rest of the year?
Well, Myles Garrett had some interesting comments yesterday after the game just about, hey, I'm going to make sure that this locker room does not mail it in, and I'm paraphrasing there, but that was essentially the message that Myles delivered. And it's got to come from within, right? The coaches can only scheme so much stuff up and draw so many plays up. The players just got to go out and execute. And on the offensive side of the ball, you don't have anyone capable of executing. And it starts with the quarterback. Some of those throws yesterday were just absolutely laughable. That's how bad they were. And they're going to sit there with a straight face and tell us that Dillon Gabriel gives them a chance to win a football game. No, he doesn't. He is one of the worst quarterbacks to come through here in the last 27 years. Okay? He's that bad. You have no chance. The touchdown pass to Jerry Jeudy was luck. I'll give him the touchdown to David Njoku. Okay, that was a good play. But, I can count on one hand the number of good throws this dude has made in 5 starts. Okay? He's not good. He's not a serious NFL starting quarterback. And they're just going to keep running him out there. And I have to ask the question, okay, if he is infinitely better than Shedeur Sanders, then how bad is Shedeur Sanders? Right? Those are the questions now I'm starting to ask. And I'm not firing shots at Shedeur. I'm just asking questions like, okay, if Dillon Gabriel is light years ahead in his quote-unquote development than Shedeur Sanders is, then that tells me Shedeur Sanders must be a complete catastrophe right now. And it has to be, because they don't seem to even want to be entertaining the thought of putting Shedeur on the field. They're going to keep force-feeding us Dillon Gabriel. 5 of the next 7 at home as well. And you're going to make fans keep watching that? I listen, I told you so. I told you in training camp that that's what this kid was, and I'm sorry that I was so dead on accurate with it.
Well, listen to you.
Victory lap
listen
from Daryl.
Victory lap, Daryl.
Victory lap.
Listen, look at you, Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl.
And your victory
look
laps.
Look at you. So Daryl, we figured out that when you're talking, if I look to my left and Ken looks to the right, on the box on YouTube, we are looking in the right direction. When I'm talking, you have to look to the right in your studio. When Ken is talking, you have to look to
your
left.
Yes.
Oh, so you guys can see me now.
I can see you.
Oh, yeah.
I can see
I can see you. I can see all your facial reactions, although it's like on a 30-second delay.
Yeah, I can see your movie posters in the background.
Yeah.
I feel like Lester Diamond. This is me feeling you.
It's one of my prized possessions, my autographed Major League movie poster.
Looks fabulous, Daryl. Daryl Ruiter brought to you by Scheib & Jeweler. So would you have started Shedeur earlier? Would you start Shedeur next week? When would you start Shedeur?
I would have started him yesterday. I would have used the bye to get him ready. Now, I also understand the back injury. That plays a part in it. But I would have tried to get him ready for yesterday. But they need to expedite this. They need to get him ready to play quickly. And that is one of the questions that I plan to ask Kevin Stefanski today. When are you going to get Shedeur Sanders ready to play? Because nobody wants to watch Dillon Gabriel attempt to play football anymore.
Oof. Hard to disagree. We've really crystallized it there. Go ahead. Are you going to ask him a question, or am I just going to take it away here? What are you doing over there?
Go ahead.
I just want to make sure everybody can see us looking at Daryl.
Well, here's the thing. Ken spent half the interview with his face in his hands because he's so exasperated by the situation.
I'm absolutely disgusted.
I know. I'm not criticizing you, Ken.
Uh-huh.
And you got Lima over here. He's just like, I see half his head, and he's just like staring blankly off into the distance in dismay.
Because this is, you get to a point where you can't be mad about it anymore.
No,
it is what it is in so many ways, because you're not making any moves, and you're just hoping that they get the point by the time that this is all said and done, this season is all said and done. Because, we were picking our, okay, what's the record going to be after the year? And some people were saying 5 wins. And I go, no, before, I know, maybe I'm overcorrecting my correction, but I'm going, they're just as bad as all these teams. They're circling you as a win as well. Yeah. So I don't want to hear it. And they lost this first one to the Jets, so Tennessee isn't no gimme. And neither is, the Raiders on the road? They haven't won a road game in 13 games. 14. Is it 13 or 14? 13. I've lost count. They haven't won a road game in 13 games, Daryl. I'm expecting them to beat the Raiders on the road? I know the Raiders are terrible. It doesn't matter.
Let me help you with some numbers, Ken.
Yeah.
They're 5-21 in their last 26, dating to last season, okay, which is not nearly as bad as 4-44 was, and they're 0 for their last 13 on the road. So those are the two numbers you need to know: 5-21 and 0-13.
Was it fitting that Paul DePodesta was at the game yesterday?
Yes, and you know what? I am crediting him with his 100th loss as Chief Strategy Officer. That is a seminal moment in his professional career. The Chief strategizing has just paid off immensely over the last decade. They've outsmarted nobody. They're no further ahead than they were 10 years ago. Congratulations to the Cleveland Browns for spending tens of millions of dollars on a guy that did absolutely nothing for you.
Well, Daryl, I said as a form of a tribute for him and his
he's not even a football guy. He was a baseball guy.
Well, now he's going to be a baseball guy again.
Good for him.
So Daryl,
he's got the worst team in Major League Baseball. Good luck with that.
Yeah, Daryl, we started the show. I was talking about how, as a tribute, they should hand him the game ball for loss number 100. But it should be all the biggest losers they've had during his run. So, Daryl, if you would like to power rank.
Oh, that's too much right off.
If you would like to power rank the biggest losers that also could have been there to hand him that game ball during the DePodesta run.
Oh, man. Well, I think you got to go Hugh Jackson, right?
It's good. It's a good pick.
Freddie Kitchens.
Yes.
And Sashi Brown.
No players?
Done. No players. No players. We're not picking on the players.
I don't want to call Federico a loser. And Sashi did it on purpose.
Well, but again...
yeah.
So that brings me to my next question,
Why you
1
in 31, Ken? 1 in 31. Do I need to remind you how painful that was?
Well, you know what's nearly as painful as 5-21.
Right.
Especially because you know what? I would say this is more painful because you're just coming off a playoff run. You're paying a quarterback a bunch of money that no one wants to see.
Yeah.
And you have the player of the decade, the player of the generation, the player of the franchise on defense on your football team making plays every week. So this is way worse. This is way worse.
You mentioned Sashi was trying to lose. All right, when I talk to people outside of Cleveland, they're like, you guys are trying to lose. And we're like, no, they had expectations for themselves. He's like, yeah, but Vegas had you at 4.5 wins. You're starting more rookies than anybody else. Young people don't win in this league. And then they trade Flacco 4 weeks in for an overdrafted third rounder who probably should have been a fifth rounder or worse. So is that evidence that this team is really the grand scheme? They are trying to lose.
Well, they're trying to tell you they're trying to win, but it's hard to argue. The more you keep rolling out Dillon Gabriel, you traded Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett was jettisoned too. Obviously, he got hurt during training camp, but you got rid of him. You have a defense that you can win with. I think that's like the frustrating thing. If you're a Browns fan right now.
I'm sorry, Daryl. I have to cut in on this. I think that anybody who says that they're trying to lose or actively trying to lose is just trying to make themselves feel better about how terrible this is. Yeah. I think it turns into a fat excuse. No.
Well, again, you've got a defense that you can win with, okay? But the offense is just so inept and devoid of tangible difference-making talent that, I mean, it's similar to when they went 1-31. Like, look, the 53 men in that locker room are absolutely not going out there every Sunday trying to lose, right? Now, management can stack the deck against them by the quality of players that they put in the locker room, and I think there's something to be said about the quality of players or lack of the quality players they have offensively to help them win. But defensively, they're stacked pretty well. Like, this is a good defense that the Browns have. They're just wasting it, and it's getting worn down. I mean, Andy Baskin and I were doing the postgame pod on YouTube yesterday, and, you know, he brought up defense. I said, Andy, what are you mad at the defense for? They give up 13 points. Be mad at the special team. Special teams gave up more points than the defense did on Sunday. So that's kind of like the spot that they're in. They've got a good defense, quality players on that side of the ball, difference-making players on that side of the ball, and they just basically have little to nothing to work with offensively right now. And so now, whether you want to call that, Anthony, they're trying to lose or whatever, I'll leave that up to you guys to debate, but I look at what Andrew Berry's done the last 2 off seasons on the offensive side of the ball, and it's really hard to give him positive grades.
Go ahead, Tone.
Daryl, can I interest you in Mendoza from Indiana?
Oh, Christ. Come on. Goodness gracious.
It is November 10th, which is right about this time of the year, the most wonderful time of the year for a Browns fan, and that's to start thinking about next year's draft. So I guess I have to start scouting college quarterbacks all of a sudden. I mean, ownership's been scouting them. I think I'm pretty sure the front office has been scouting them. And this is the tough spot the Browns find themselves in, too. There is no clear-cut franchise savior right now in this upcoming draft.
We'll take a whack at one of them because it's got to be much better than Dillon Gabriel. I could cut off Fernando Mendoza's arms, and I think he would be better.
I hear you, Ken. But now you've got the analysts. They're like, 2027 now is
whatever.
The year.
Who knows what's going to happen between now and then? I don't care. Not hearing it anymore.
We're right. We're in the same vicious cycle all over again. Again, Ken, we are no better off today than we were the day Paul DePodesta walked in the front door.
Nope. It's amazing. There seems to be a quarterback that comes out of every single draft.
I know.
So I'm not going to sit there and be waiting.
Never to pick them.
I'm not doing this again. I'm not asking for more time again. No, we got to get moving here. No,
100%. I mean, at some point, Browns fan deserves a team that can win consistently. Mm-hmm. They were promised a team that could win consistently with 1-31. Okay. and you got one playoff win out of that, and now you're back to square one. Not a complete tear down to the studs rebuild, but you're basically back to square one again.
Yes,
and you've got to go through this vicious cycle all over again. And now the organization has the audacity in the middle of one of the worst seasons ever, most disappointing seasons ever, to send out surveys to fans asking how much they're willing to pay for PSLs in a new stadium. To watch that product? To watch what you're putting on the field every year? No. Ownership should step up and pay for it and say, you know what? As a thank you for your undying loyalty, for the nonsense we continue to put on the field, we're paying for the stadium for you. We're not going to charge you PSLs. We'll keep that to maybe our corporate partners or something like that. But we're not going to charge the average fan PSLs because we have been so derelict in our duty as stewards of this franchise and putting a quality product on the field for you, the fans, to cheer for. That's what the Browns should do. But they are tone deaf, and they're like, oh, yeah, we might be 2-6, but now's a good time to ask people how many hundreds of thousands of dollars they're willing to fork out to continue to watch this in a new building, just for the right to buy tickets to watch this in a new building. I don't get where their head is at sometimes, but that was a major failure by whoever made that decision to put that out, because you got Browns fans that are in their feelings. They're angry, and rightfully so. This is another wasted year, another lost season for them. And what the Browns have to understand, the younger generation, I talk to younger fans, they're starting to get really disinterested in this franchise, and that's very, very scary. The old-timers still love the Browns and all that, but the younger generations now, they're not as diehard and loyal as my generation, your generation, Ken, Anthony, your generation. The Browns better be very, very careful that they're going to lose the younger fan because they've been this bad for nearly 3 decades.
Daryl, thank you for the time. All the best.
You bet, guys. Have a good one.
Daryl Ruiter. He'll be back on Friday around the same time. It's can't miss stuff.